Hi guys, Dean here, back again for another video. It's been a while, probably a couple of months actually, which is a bit crazy when you think about it. Not quite sure why I haven't done a video in the last couple of months. Work commitments and whatever, I suppose any spare time I've sort of concentrated on sort of doing stuff other than making videos obviously. But anyway, thought I'd best get around to doing video number 2 of the Iron Maiden series I started. Must be about 6 months ago now, if not more. Obviously got the first album down and out of the way. So next one is Killers, so let's get straight into it. So this is Iron Maiden Killers. I'm not going to rabble on about the album. Most of you guys will know what the album's all about. Obviously Iron Maiden's second album had a slight change in personnel. Dennis Stratton was replaced by Adrian Smith. Obviously fans of Maiden will know Adrian Smith is quite instrumental in the writing partnerships within Iron Maiden, certainly back then and probably even more so now. And obviously you get that twin pairing of Dave Murray and Adrian Smith guitar wise, with the twin leads, which are synonymous with the Iron Maiden sound. Everybody else still the same, so you still got Clive Burr on drums, Steve Harris on bass obviously, and Paul Di'Anno on vocals. Possibly one of the biggest changes, however, is the introduction of Martin Birch as the producer. On the first album, again as I covered in the video, Steve Harris wasn't particularly happy with the production on that one, so they obviously looked at getting a proper producer in. None more so probably at the time. Martin Birch, certainly in the rock community, was probably one of the best guys around. Had a very good pedigree. Obviously worked with Deep Purple and so forth. So he was probably one of the guys to get hold of at the time. And he stayed with the band for a number of years actually, and was almost like the sixth member of the band in some respects. So Killers as an album sort of pretty much picked up where the first album left off. No doubt a lot of this material they had already sort of toured with anyway around the days, from sort of 76 and beyond. So it's got a similar sort of feeling to the first album. However, I think the production and maybe the writing styles are possibly a bit later. You can certainly see more of Iron Maiden's current sort of progressive influences a lot more here than you can on the first album. The first album, I suppose, was a bit more straight out and out, with the possible exception of Phantom of the Opera and Strange World, which obviously had some progressive influences, a lot of time changes, but again it's all synonymous with Iron Maiden anyway. So for me, I really think this is a cracking album, and a lot of people, for me it's an underrated album, because a lot of people sort of say, oh, the debut's fantastic, and then sort of skip this and go straight to Number the Beast and Power Slave, and I suppose everybody's got their favourite albums, but I think this one tends to get overlooked sometimes, even by die-hard Iron Maiden fans. And I listened to this actually a couple of days ago. Again, it's probably the first time certainly probably the first time this year I've listened to this album. And it is a corker, it really is. Yes, so many great tracks on there. So again, if you're an Iron Maiden fan, don't miss this one. Anyway, we're here for the pressings, nothing else. So this, you can see it right in the top corner there, is the standard EMI 3357, yep, 3357 pressing of Killers. So this is the first pressing essentially, the first release that came out. It isn't the first pressing, I think it was. It's an A2, I don't know whether that was the first or the second, but so yeah, it's got the standard, I won't open it up, it's got the standard Eddie under the street lamp in a label, and it comes in a plain sleeve, so nothing too exciting there. So as with a lot of UK releases, bare bones, I'm afraid. So that was the EMI pressing, shortly followed by probably, I think it was around the 82, 83 mark, the Fame pressing came out. So it was later on down the line, obviously, once the Number of the Beast had sort of hit the stratosphere. Exactly the same track listing, which leads me on to the fact that no Twilight Zone for some reason. Don't know why. Twilight Zone was the single. Got a feeling, I can't remember whether it came out before or after the album was released, but anyway, for some reason not on here but on other pressings. I really like Twilight Zone. I think it's a cracking track, so not quite sure why they didn't include it on the album. But anyway, so that's the Fame pressing. That's exactly the same. No difference at all into the inside, no additional inserts, exactly the same labels and so forth. So again, hence the reason for I'm not opening it up. This is the German pressing. Not quite sure why I've got a German pressing. I know I did pick up a lot of German stuff. I always had German pressings during the 80s anyway. Local record shop always had like the German imports, you know, a lot of the Iron Maiden 12 inches and stuff that only came out in the UK on 7. In Germany you could get like the super sound versions, so always grab those because they were awesome. And again, this is exactly the same track listing, exactly the same package. There's no difference at all, same label and everything on there as well. So now things slightly change. So this is the Harvest pressing, so it's the North American pressing. But we now have Twilight Zone. So for some reason, you lucky Americans, North Americans, I think the Capitol pressing was exactly the same as well, had Twilight Zone. Don't ask me why, I don't know why Twilight Zone was particularly selected for the American market. But again, you've got the same sort of inner labels there. And again, nothing extra, just the bare bones tracks. But yeah, so it's a strange one, that one. Not quite sure why. Maybe it was a bigger hit in the US than it was in the UK single-wise, I'm not sure. Who knows? But yeah, it's a strange one, that one. So then we get to the Japanese release. So this is the first. And again, we have details of, you can just sort of see at the end, details of Twilight Zone. And to be honest, I've not actually, from memory, I can't remember if this actually included the complete Twilight Zone or whether it was partial. I'll open this one up. Japanese pressings sound fantastic anyway for a start. Predominantly all their, open this up. All their vinyl stock is virgin vinyl, so it's not been recycled at all. It's completely new vinyl. So yeah, you've got details of Twilight Zone just under the obi strip. There's a couple of differences on the obis. You'll notice that this one sort of goes and includes the O. The one I'll show you afterwards doesn't. The difference in this one, this is the first press, at least I think this is the first press. Includes black and white. It's a fold out insert. So you've got the lyrics in Japanese and English on there, some additional photos. So straight away, you know, that's far above and beyond what we got in the UK. And for a UK band, it seems a bit strange, but obviously Japan was really into the metal at the time, as they still are. But on the first pressing, we also get a lovely fold-out poster. I can fold it out. Make sure we get that in. So that's a early Eddie the Head over the drum kit there of Clive Burr. Fantastic. And again, this is as you'll see, pretty much all the way through. Japanese releases are second to none. There's nothing there that can touch them. And again, you've got the same labels there. So you've got details of Twilight Zone, which I'm pretty sure I would say that's gonna have to listen to that one again, because that does look like a really short track on there, on the last track. But yeah, one I need to listen to. So this is the second press, Japanese pressing of Killers. Again, details of Twilight Zone on the back. Slightly different overstrip. Let's say it cuts off before it hits the O. To me, that is the only difference I can see between the two. And I'm thinking, from what I've seen, predominantly the poster comes with the larger overstrip, and the second pressing doesn't. So, which agrees with it. Get the same insert, black and white insert, exactly the same. Labels exactly the same, just no poster. So then we have the 2012 picture disc pressing. And again, as I did the first album, and as you know, can't stand picture discs, but the package itself is fantastic. Again, same track listing as the UK, so no Twilight Zone, but we've got a fantastic gatefold picture in there. It's very similar, if not, no, it's not the same picture as the Japanese one. But we've also got the lyrics on the insert, and a nice picture there, which looks like it's taken in Japan. And then the picture disc itself, got Twilight Zone and Purgatory. So again, you've got the two singles there that you had, sort of came with the album. But even though Twilight Zone isn't actually on the album for the UK. And then finally, we have the 2014, blimey, is it 2 years ago, release, which is the reissue on 180 gram vinyl, which again I've covered before on a previous video, so I've gone through all those. So that's it really, so that's Iron Maiden Killers. Slight change to the track listing as well, and another version which is like the first album. I'm still after one of those versions. There is a Australian pressing of Killers that has Women in Uniform on it, which again was one of the other singles around the time. And again, not quite sure why this wasn't on the UK one, not quite sure why it wasn't on the US or North American one. Other than the fact that the track that was done by an Australian band originally. So maybe there was some sort of deal with the record company to say, okay, you guys are Australian, can we stick this, on here for the Australian pressing? Not sure. Bear with me a second. Got it in here somewhere. So those of you not in the know, Women in Uniform was originally done by Skyhooks. So that's the original pressing. Just a nice little 7-inch. This one actually is on green vinyl. But yeah, it says a Mushroom Australia International Production on the bottom there. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they were an Australian band. So I'm assuming there was something going on there with between the record companies, between EMI and the United Artists, that these guys are on, just to say, come on, just stick the track on for the Australian market. So that's it. That's Killers. So next up is Number the Beast. So hopefully that won't be another 6 months, maybe 6 months, 6 weeks and 6 days, who knows. Anyway, till next time, catch you later guys, cheers.